Well, hello good people and welcome back to the channel. Now I know it's been several months since I posted a movie review on here, but in just a few moments, you'll get to hear my thoughts and feelings on King Richard, starring Will Smith. Now going into the movie, I was very excited to see how things would play out, because as a kid, I remember seeing Venus and Serena playing in their respective professional debuts. I was also pretty familiar with Richard Williams and his unique personality that tended to shine through his interviews. So for the purposes of this review, I will tell you what I liked and disliked about King Richard, and I'll also give my overall rating on the movie. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. I think all the acting performances were effective in the movie, but in my opinion, the best acting performances would have to go to Will Smith, Aunjanue Ellis, and Jon Bernthal. Right off the bat, I can say that Will Smith as Richard Williams completely owns the role. If you've ever seen a vintage Richard Williams interview, then you would know that Will pretty much nailed Richard Williams' nuances and speech down pretty good. And as Richard Williams, Will was able to convincingly convey a variety of emotions during the scenes with his various characters. Aunjanue Ellis also gave a great performance as Oracene, who was the mother of Venus and Serena. And although she really didn't have as much screen time as Will Smith, Ellis was able to use every scene to her advantage, and she complemented Will Smith's performance perfectly. And lastly, Jon Bernthal as Rick Macy also gave a sleeper performance in the movie. He is Venus and Serena's coach after the family moves to Florida, and he gives quite the over-the-top performance at times, which also complements Will in their scenes together. I was also a fan of the overall storytelling in the movie. The movie is called King Richard, and the series of events that occur in the movie are being told primarily through the perspective of Richard Williams. He has a plan for his family, he is extremely serious about this plan, and he will protect his family at all costs. And when it comes to biopics, I am a huge fan of linear storytelling, meaning the series of events in the movie were told in chronological order. It made it easy for me to follow and know what was going on. And those who are familiar with the Williams sisters' story know that they faced a great deal of racism during their early years in tennis. Well, in the movie, race is only mentioned a handful of times, and when it's mentioned, it's definitely appropriate. I say all that to say that this movie was definitely not written to be a white guilt movie. And to my last point about the storytelling, I was glad that the movie didn't completely shy away from telling how Richard Williams was flawed as a person, because he had issues with infidelity that ultimately took its toll on the marriage. One of the things that surprised me about the movie was the tone. For the most part, the movie was a comedy or had several scenes that were unintentionally funny. Now there are a handful of scenes involving Richard's run-ins with the local gang members or Richard trying to teach his children a life lesson, and they are successful at adding that much anticipated dramatic effect. But overall, I would say that the lighthearted tone of the movie made it interesting to watch. But unfortunately, I must say that there are some things that I did not like about King Richard. First, I must say that the actresses that played the young Venus and Serena did a great job given the material that they had to work with, and that is a problem. Venus and Serena are an essential part of any Richard Williams story. You can't really tell how Richard Williams rose to success without mentioning them. But in this movie, we as the audience really don't learn much about Venus or Serena, or any of their other sisters for that matter, outside of how good they are in school. Now this might be a nitpick, but for me, it would have been nice if the movie gave us some kind of insight on Venus and Serena's personality while growing up in Compton and in the Williams household. I was also not a huge fan of the movie's runtime. King Richard is nearly 2.5 hours long, which is a decent runtime if the story at hand is interesting enough to tell. But for me, there were some fluff scenes in the movie that could have been deleted entirely or replaced with more character development scenes for Venus and Serena. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this movie an 8. While I most certainly had some issues with King Richard, I also had a blast while watching it. The movie was most certainly an emotional roller coaster, and I would highly recommend it to anyone out there, especially parents with small children. Well, this marks the end of my review, but if you know me by now, you know that I love feedback. So if you have a question about the movie, a comment about the review, or a random thought you want to share, feel free to leave it below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to each and every comment there. So until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.